Hello, everyone. Welcome to Elevating Your Life. So happy today to just share another great show, another great guest. It's just such a blessing. We have with us today American-born Barbara Berger. She is a best-selling author of 15 self-empowerment books. After she left the USA, she settled in Scandinavia and continued her quest to learn more about the science of the mind, spirituality, and psychology. Today, she gives workshops and coaching to help her clients harness the power of their own minds. She lives in Copenhagen, Denmark. Barbara's latest book, Healthy Models for Relationships, is a lifesaver for anyone who has ever had relationship problems and wondered what healthy relationships actually look like and how to achieve them. And we will be talking about other books too. There's so many great books that she's written. So anyway, welcome, Barbara. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. What a great introduction. I'm honored to be here.
Oh, thank you. I'm honored to share you with my audiences. This is fantastic. Well, first off, I mean, you've written so many amazing books. You've gotten so many awards. Let's chat a little bit about your latest book, Healthy Models for Relationships. And also, if you want to share a little more background and kind of what triggered you to write all these books, that would be great.
Well, I think if we start with the latest one, Healthy Models for Relationships, I work on a daily basis as a coach and a therapist, and have done it for many, 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 many years. So I have talked to hundreds and thousands of people over the years, and I have discovered that people who come to me, often one of their main challenges in life is their relationships. Most people have relationship challenges, if we should say it politely. Some people really have relationship difficulties. So over the years, coaching people and trying to help them solve their relationship problems, I have discovered the concept that I call healthy models for relationship. I have found out that if we can define what a healthy relationship looks like, in other words, a healthy couple relationship, or a healthy parent-child relationship, or a healthy mother-to-child relationship, or our relationships with our parents. So in other words, we all have these different relationships. If we can define what a healthy relationship looks like and sounds like, then we can take our own relationship and compare it to the healthy model. And then it makes it easier for us to identify where the problem actually is. Because most people, they feel some kind of discomfort. They know that something isn't functioning, that something feels off, but they often have difficulties being more specific or concrete about what is actually the problem. Is it, for example, a lack of healthy boundaries? Or is it, for example, a lack of respectful communications? Or is it, for example, not knowing how to set limits and be assertive and say no? Or is it being a people? So there are a lot of different things that if you can identify it, then you can begin to do something about it. So that's how I came to write. Then I wrote it all down after all these years of doing it. I figured, okay, I better write it down so I can share it with people.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Well, give us some examples of some of the things you talk about in here about that. Like, you know, when you recognize something, what would be some first steps to make?
Well, let's take a specific example. If you would say, let's start with one that's very, very up for most people, it's couple relationships. So one of the chapters in the book is what characterizes a healthy, well-functioning couple relationship. And I have identified, and I write about it in detail in the book, 4 different areas in a couple relationship that sort of have to work if the relationship is going to be viable and a happy one. And the 4 different areas are, the first area is sex and intimacy. The second area is good energy when we're together. Third area is mutual shared interests and values. And the fourth area is respect, especially when we're in disagreement. And what I do, I explain it in the book, but what I do also, I also do couple therapy. So we go through these different 4 areas and we find out some couples, for example, if we take shared values and interests, some couples have problems in that area. In other words, if they're very far from each other in terms of their values. For example, if you say in terms of child raising, the one parent is very strict and the other one is very laid back, that if you're too far apart in terms of your views, your values, your beliefs, it makes it difficult for a relationship to work. So it's not so much a question of right and wrong. It's more a question, and when I try to help couples, how far away are we from each other? And then I encourage them to see if they can't reach what I call the workable compromise.
Workable compromise.
So yeah, so it's the kind of things that I have in the book are very concrete and very practical, and hopefully are things that if you read about them, you can even do them on your own, look at your relationships and try to see, can I use this information to improve my own situation? And most people can. That's what I hear.
Yeah. And something you say in your book that I just loved is you say it's not what you say, it's how you say it.
A lot of the
book
can do. So a lot of the book is about what I call constructive communications. And there is a chapter that's called, it's not what you say, but how you say it. If you think about every conversation, everything that you do, there are 2 elements. It's the subject matter. In other words, we're going to talk about what we're going to have for dinner, or we're going to talk about where we're going on vacation. But it's not just what you're talking about, it's how you say it. Mm-hmm. And people a lot of times get into trouble because it's not so much what they want to say, but the way they, in other words, the tone of voice, if they're irritated, aggressive, or shouting, or in other words, it's not so much what they're saying, but the way in which they go about it that is really problematic. And if you start to notice that, you will discover that if you can be aware of the way in which you formulate things, you can actually say pretty much anything. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow. And another key here in terms of, if we go back to communications in couple relationships, one of the things that plays into what you're just asking me about is I always teach people it's really important to understand that love and agreement are 2 different things. Many people in couple relationships have the idea, if you love me, you'll do what I want. And so to have a healthy couple relationship, it's really important to be able to separate love and agreement. In other words, to be able to, and this is how you say things, you know, I love you, darling, and I have a different opinion. Mm-hmm. So to be able to separate the content from the way in which we speak. Yes. So they're all, in this book, I have all kinds of sort of communication techniques and tricks and ways in which you can learn to be more respectful and still be assertive and set boundaries and say what you think and feel in a good way, a constructive way.
It really is a fantastic book. I just loved it. I just loved it. The Healthy Models for Relationships. I loved it. And I have to ask, because I am the author of the book, Why Am I So Happy? I have to ask you to share a little bit about your, we'll call it the happy book.
I was so delighted when you invited me on your show, and I looked at, of course, your profile and who you are and what you've done. She's written a book about happiness, and I have too. And my happiness book is called Are You Happy Now? 10 Ways to Live a Happy Life.
I love it.
And it's I have written actually 2 international bestsellers, and this is one of them. It's translated into 21 languages, and so it's, you know, what are the keys to happiness, you can say. I mean, I haven't had the pleasure of reading your book, but what is your angle?
Yeah, mine is, you know, just a lot of little things to think about, such as happiness triggers. What are your own unique happiness triggers? And give yourself
good.
more of those, you know, that type of thing.
Okay.
And I was recently just interviewed on the Amazon Live show, Meet the Author, and that was a lot. But yeah, that's basically kind of it. So what kind of points do you make in your book, Barbara?
Well, my happiness book is it's 10 ways to live a happy life. And so I list 10, I'll read them to you. The first way, this is the keys to living a happy life: accept what is. That's number 1. The number 1 cause of suffering and happiness is wanting life to be something it's not. So that's my first thing. It's about getting real about the human condition. Number 2 is want what you have. The number 2 cause of suffering and unhappiness is wanting what you don't have. So this is a chapter about shifting your focus, appreciating what you do have, and not comparing yourself all the time to what other people are doing. So it's a mental shift. So
many times, Barbara, it can be, I'll be happy when this happens.
Exactly. That's what this is what this chapter is about. And it ain't never going to happen, sweetheart. So if we want to be, because this book is called, it's not Are You Happy? The title is Are You Happy Now? Now. Okay. The number 3 cause, the number 3 advice is be honest with yourself. The number 3 cause of suffering and unhappiness is not communicating honestly with yourself. So this chapter is about getting real about who you are, being honest with who you are and what it is that's important, and stop comparing yourself to everybody else and coming home to yourself. I'm sure you have stuff like that. And then number 4 is investigate your stories. This is about the number 4 cause of suffering and unhappiness are the scary stories you tell yourself about life in the world. Wow. So this is a chapter about investigating our thinking, investigating our thoughts, and discovering all the things that are actually blocking us from experiencing the joy of this now moment.
All that left brain stuff that just is so busy with the talk.
And you want me to go on? The number
sure,
5.
A few more. I love it.
We're on up to number 5. Number 5 is mind your own business. The number 5 cause of suffering and unhappiness is minding other people's business. So you can figure out what that chapter is about. But that's a real important one too. These are all the things I've learned from coaching people so much.
Love it.
Number 6 is follow your passion and accept the consequences. The number 6 cause of suffering and unhappiness is not doing what you want because you are afraid that people will disapprove. So this is a really big thing for people too.
Yes.
Number 7, do the right thing and accept the consequences. The number 7 cause of suffering and unhappiness is not doing the right thing because you're afraid of the consequences. So this is the whole thing about integrity, doing what you think is the right thing, and accepting that everything that we say, think, and do has consequences, but that if we're not in alignment with the highest good that we can conceive of, it's really problematic.
Yes.
For living a happy life.
Yes.
Okay, number 8, deal with what is in front of you and forget the rest. The number 8 cause of suffering and unhappiness is shadow boxing with illusions instead of dealing with the reality that is in front of you.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah. That's something we don't think about. Yeah.
No, exactly. To become aware of how much we are lost in our opinions and stories and not really present and dealing with what's actually going on in front of our noses.
Yeah.
Number 9 is know what is what. The number 9 cause of suffering and unhappiness is wanting absolute satisfaction from relative experiences. This is a much more sort of spiritual, to understand what is life about and the transient nature of our life experience in these bodies, and having unrealistic expectations to what life is and how much trouble we get into because of that. And then the last one is, again, about more spirituality. Number 10, learn to see beyond impermanence. The number 10 cause of suffering and unhappiness is believing we become nothing. So it's about the superstition of materialism versus a more spiritual view of human existence.
Yes.
And then the epilogue is my one piece of advice at the very end. If you want to live a happy life, don't believe what you think.
Wow. Oh, I love it. I love it.
So we can always have another chat about your
Yes.
happiness book and my happiness book.
I love it. I love it. Together we happy dance.
Exactly. That we could try that, Paula.
Oh, I love it. I can just imagine what it's been like over the years, the work you do and helping so many people, and that is just beautiful, making such a difference in so many lives, Barbara. Thank you.
Thank you.
Gosh. And I'd love to have you share a little bit about a few more books. Now there's one, The Power. Remind me what that's called.
Yes, the road to power. This is the one that's really the biggest international bestseller I've written. It's translated now into 31 languages. It's published in Russian and Chinese and in Japanese and in Korean and in Arabic and so on. And this is a book about the power of the mind.
Wow.
That what you focus your attention on grows in your experience, and that understanding the power of your mind is really the key to freedom. So it's a really classic self-empowerment book.
I love that.
So,
Road to Power, fast food for the soul. Oh, I love that. Tell us a little bit about.
well, it's also because fast food for the soul. It's like I wanted to write a book that was short and easy. You know, in other words, that it's a very practical book. Each chapter has practical techniques about, you know, like the power of the mind, the power of focus, the power of saying no, the power of release, the power of substitution. So I wanted to sort of boil it down. So you could basically, if you have this book, you can open it at any chapter, and, you know, whatever the universe guides you to, there will be some advice that you can implement immediately, and it will work immediately. So that's why it's called Fast Food for the Soul.
I love it. I love it. Oh my gosh. I just can't imagine writing so many amazing books. This is so fantastic, and bestsellers.
Well, actually, I would like to tell you and whoever's listening that I have a free ebook, which is a short introduction to using and understanding the power of the mind and using it wisely. And it's called The Mental Laws.
The Mental Laws.
Understanding the power of mind and how to use it wisely. I'm giving this away for free. And if you would like to have this, it's a good introduction to all of my books and all of this work. Go into the website. My website is beamteam.com. BEAMTEAM.com. And on the front page of the website, it tells you how to get the free ebook. You just have to send an email to info@beamteam.com and write the title of the book, The Mental Laws, and the subject line, and we will send you your free copy within 24 hours.
Oh, that is fantastic. What a great gift. The beamteam.com. I love it. I love it. Oh my God.
It's not BB, it's just beamteam.com. No, Just beamteam.com. That's
okay.
the website.
Beamteam.com.
Mm.
Excellent. Free ebook. Oh my gosh. Everybody's got to check that out. So with so many amazing books behind you and this one coming out, the Healthy Models just came out. Do you see another book in the future or any, what are your plans moving on from today?
They just sort of happened. Well, actually, I just wrote another one, which also just came out. Because I've written all these books, there's so many people who ask me these questions that you're asking me. How did you come to do this? What was your pathway? So I wrote my road to power. You know, this is the road to power. And this is so this is actually my autobiography, which just came out a week ago.
Oh my God.
I tried to share this journey that I have been on, because so people always ask me, like, you're born in America, why do you live in Denmark? And how did you get there? And how did you write all these books? And so this is an attempt to answer that question.
Oh, I'm excited. I'm going to check that out. My road to power. Barbara's road.
Mhm.
The path she went down. And we are, you know, all of us on our own road, on our own path. And, you know, we really can, you know, put the direction out there and where we're going to go, can't we?
And support each other and
Yes.
share information. I mean, there's so much we can do to help each other, and it's such a joy. So
Yes.
it's my great joy to do this. I love doing it. It's so wonderful to see that, okay, a book or a technique or a little something here that it can change the whole course of a lifetime.
Yes.
So,
yes. Something so simple, but yet so powerful can do so much, can't it? That's just got to be an amazing adventure for you, Barbara, with these books and with the work you do with people and assisting them in seeing this and making changes and it just feels good, doesn't it, just to be a positive energy in the world also.
I mean,
it's a gift to us.
When you look at the world situation, the one thing we need more than anything else is good energy.
Yeah.
And so all of these techniques that I write about, they're all about raising our frequency, our vibrational frequency. And because of law of attraction, we attract situations, events, people that match our frequency. So by changing your focus and lifting your energy and changing your frequency, your life changes automatically. It's not out there, it's in here and in here.
Something that I absolutely loved in your Healthy Models for Relationships was you said, make a gratitude list and make a strength list. I loved that. That was fantastic. You know,
but again, it's based on the quickest way of changing your energy. The quickest way of lifting your frequency is gratitude and love. I mean, they are the highest energy, you know that. And so how do we get there? And making gratitude lists and being present in the moment and say, you know, I got food in the refrigerator and I have a nice bed and I have a computer and I have a cell phone and I have friends and you know, to remind ourselves of all the good.
Yes.
The change of focus is the key to changing your life.
Yes, that is so true. That is so true. That is just powerful, powerful statement. It is. It makes a whole difference in everything, I believe. Well, we have a few minutes left in the show. So what last message do you want to give us? What last little tidbit do you want everyone to think about today? As we go into our happy dance day.
Just what we're talking about today. If you want to change your life, notice what's going on up here. In other words, it's not what's happening out there. It's how we relate to what's happening out there that determines our life experience. So it's really important to understand that no matter what is going on in front of you, whatever the reality is that's appearing before you, you always have a choice as to how you're going to relate to it. Are you going to focus on everything you don't like about the situation, all the negative, all the problems, or are you going to focus on the potential, all the good you see, all you can learn from this situation? And this choice of focus determines your experience. When you have a more positive focus, your vibrational frequency lifts and you attract things that match your good energy. So it changes your life. If you have a negative focus and focusing only on what you don't like and all the problems, that's a low frequency, and you will attract people, events that match that frequency. So it's really important. This is about self-empowerment, that we take our power back and understand that the only thing that we can actually do anything about is the focus of our intention.
Yes. Yes.
People think if they move stuff around in the outer that they'll feel better, but that's not the way it works. It's the inner first, and then the outer will be reflecting back to you what you've got going on here. And it's so fantastic to get it. So this ebook that I'm offering for free, it has an explanation of just this that I talked about, the power of your focus and how it changes your life when you take control, when you become aware of it and take control of it.
Oh, I love it. I love it. That is such a powerful message. And I just thank you so much for sharing that and sharing all of what your wisdom and what you do, your books. Oh my gosh, I'm excited to check out the ebook. And am I happy now?
I will send them to you, I promise, when we're done now.
Love it. I would love it. And I will send you a copy of my book. We're going to have,
Oh, please do. Please do. Please
we may
do.
have to connect again soon.
Yes, thank you so much for having
You're
me, Paul. It's been
welcome.
a pleasure and a joy, and I wish you well and send you
Thank
many
you,
blessings.
Barbara. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Have a fantastic day.